Hello everyone and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. This is a new Let's Play, just another one I'm starting, hopefully a series of Let's Plays and also a way to let you guys know about what's going on. I have been playing Kerbal Space Program before, so I know quite a bit, but I'm not really perfect at the game. So, especially not at landing, which I noticed today. But let's talk about that another time. So, let's start up the game. And we'll start a new, sandbox, as career mode is not yet enabled. The game is still in beta. You can get it on Steam or from the website, and I would really encourage you to do so. So, oh no, player name. Well, obviously that's gonna be paradogz, and I have my own flag, which, well, here's a lot of flags you can decide for, but I'm gonna go with paradogz space. This is my flag, and here we go. Well, as you can probably hear, I have tried to figure out problems with my microphone, and I hope it's better and not oversteering now, which it did before. So here we are in KSP. This is our space center. We have the vehicle assembly building right here, where we can build our rockets and then send them to the sky from the launch pad over here. We have a vehicle tracking station, which is this triangular shaped thing, which helps us track where every vehicle in the sky is, and we can actually click on, I want to steer this one there. That's the command center, so to say, Houston of Kerbal Space Center. This building doesn't actually have functionality right now. I think it's a testing center, but I'm not sure yet. This will probably be in a future update. Then we have the spaceplane hangar, where you can build, well, planes and space planes and start them on the runway and send them up in the sky. And we have the astronaut complex. That's what it's called. Okay, this is where you can go to hire astronauts. As you can see right now, we have three astronauts: Jebediah, Bill, and Bob Kerman. Everyone is named Kerman, by the way, on here, because this is Kerbal. I can probably show you when we go to the command center. I can show you an overview. This is our planet, Kerbal, and our space center is located right here at this slightly lighter bit of this Africa-like continent. And if we zoom out, we can find the moon of Kerbal, which is called Mun. And it actually got a second one, other than the Earth, which is called Minmus, but it's further out. And if you zoom out, you can even find more planets. Oh my god, there's so many. So there's lots of places to go to. But since this game is rather simulation-like, it's not too easy to do, and I have actually landed on the moon before, but done nothing else much elsewhere in the galaxy. I haven't flown out to any other planets. Sorry for using galaxy, that's actually just a solar system, but excuse my my lack of knowledge here. Okay, so what I want to do in this episode is build a rocket, so we're going to the vehicle assembly building, and my goal is to pretty much just get a rocket up into the air, show you how a basic rocket design works, and how to achieve an orbit, as such, basically circle around Kerbal. So you can see a lot of Kerbals running around here, and this is pretty much our construction crew. Although we are doing all the constructing and they are just aimlessly wandering around or hammering the ground like this dude. What the hell? Anyway, yeah, what you need to start with is a command module. There are basically two types of command modules. These are computer modules, and those are all manned modules where you will put the life of Kerbals at risk. So think about using those, and I will use the Mark 1-2 command pod, which is suitable for 3 persons, and that's what I will put on top of my rocket. So let's get up here. And yeah, that's the main part, the core of the rocket. Oh, my flag. Anyway, yeah, and you will need this essentially if you want to bring up people. You can also bring them up in like this command pod, which is for 1 person, and those are lander cans for 3. No, that's actually for 2 persons. This is a lander can for 1 person. Those 3 are not actually for rockets. Usually they are for space planes, more or less, but you can also vertically start a plane. God damn it! Start a space plane. Sound it out. And this is basically just a cupola module for 1 person as well, which can be used on space stations. And that's pretty much it. And there's also an external command seat which can be used for rovers, and you don't want to use that for starters. Now there's a lot of parts. There's propulsion, which is tanks and motors and control and structural parts and aerodynamic parts and utility and science. Okay, that's a whole lot, but we basically first off need propulsion. We need gasoline to go, and we need a rocket motor. So I will put just a basic fuel tank here. I'm actually gonna go with a smaller one, and a very smaller like engine. This is our engine, and I will also, when they get back down to Earth, I will need a parachute. So one of these, I will use this one. No, that's too tiny. I'll use this one. Okay, that fits on top. That's basically all a rocket really needs. So I could fire this up, but I wouldn't get very far if I would get off the ground at all. Yeah, fire it up and then go down on my parachutes. That's possible, but now we are at the part where it gets a bit more complicated, because I will put this away again, and we will use a decoupler, because when I want to come down, I will want to have as few mass as possible. So basically just the command module on its own, yeah, with a parachute, of course, because I don't want to fall to the ground and explode and die in the flames. So I need a so-called decoupler underneath it, and thus I can decouple the upper part from the lower part. The lower part will just fall back to the ground, and the upper part as well, but the upper part will then be slowed down by the parachutes. What else? There are a lot of systems to help you on your way. First off, control. It's easy to control an aircraft with your arrow keys, or WASD actually, but it's a lot easier to have a so-called SAS module to help you on the way, because this module keeps you stable, and it's just really convenient, and I'll explain a bit more about it later when we get to actually using it. Now, what we also need is another type of fuel. It's called RCS fuel. I will just put a tank for that here, and then put RCS thrusters. These are basically also little tiny rockets. Put them right here, 4 of them, so we can steer in any way. As you can see, they can fire in 4 ways. Thus they can slow us down, speed us up, or turn us right or left. That's important because up in space there is no air, so the winglets I could add to the rocket here would have no effect in space. That means I need to use an engine to turn myself around and else. And that's what the RCS fuel is for, and the RCS thrusters. Because if you want to use the main engine, that's not really gonna happen, and it's actually too powerful for turning you around. You just want little puffs of air, kind of, of gasoline to get out there and turn you around slowly. Actually, you can also turn around using the SAS module, but that's really slow, and especially on bigger spacecraft, this doesn't really work. It does work, but you need to wait forever, and you don't get in position fast enough sometimes. So that's why you use RCS thrusters. So this is now our more advanced rocket stage, with which we can still get up into space and actually fly in space, but this alone won't get us anywhere. We probably wouldn't even get off the ground with this. So I need to put more rockets, powerful rockets, under it, and for that I will put another coupler here, because later on I just want to fly with the upper stage. And as you can see, there will be shrouds put around the engine. It's now hidden inside. Wait, let me see if I can put this up a little higher. Yeah, you can see the engine is in here, and later on the upper part of the spacecraft will just come out. Okay, so underneath this we will put a pretty simple structural thing like this. This makes it go smaller, and then we will put this one. So that's just to fit them together. If you ever play Kerbal Space Program, you can pretty much figure out the single parts on your own and try to assemble the rocket like you want to. For example, here I'm going to four rocket design, so I can put on 4 pods at once. Putting on 4 pods at once, like I'll use these, is achieved by symmetry mode. With one I can just put on one, and if I click this, you see there's 2. That would look like doesn't even work. 3 or 4. I could like 3. This is like putting on 3 at one time. Or you can put on 4, which is what I want to do. 4, and I'll put on another 4, and that should roughly do for getting us up in the air and hopefully in orbit. Then we need a fuel engine. There are 2 kinds of engines which there are more kinds of engines which you can use for this size of rocket, but those 2 are the most powerful ones. Those are for bigger rockets. As you can see, they would fit there, but no, you can't even put them in there because they're clipping into each other. So I will use this one. The main difference between this and this engine is that this one wiggles around and like steers you. The other one doesn't, but is more powerful. So I want to use the more powerful one because I have other means of turning myself around. So yeah, that's that. And in order to keep those 4 fuel tanks together and not have them wiggle around too much, I will strut them down with struts. So I'll put just struts, they appear on all sides. Here, and that should roughly do, hopefully. Okay, that's roughly a rocket. Now what else do we need? We need let me explain that quickly. There's two kinds of fuel also. No, actually three kinds if you count RCS fuel, but we already talked. Oops, sorry. We already talked about that. And yeah, three kinds: RCS fuel, liquid fuel, and then there is these kind of solid fuel boosters, which are quite big, and as the name says, there's solid fuel in it. So the main part about this is you can use RCS for steering in space. You have liquid fuel to basically use any engine that's up here, and then you have the solid fuel boosters. The difference is with the liquid fuel you can manage or fuel any engine, and you can power it up and you can power it down whenever you like or feel like it or want to or need to, actually. And the difference to the solid fuel boosters is if you light them once, they will burn, and they won't stop. They will burn at a decent rate, but they will not stop. You can't stop them from burning once you have ignited them. That's actually how it works in real life as well. So they are kind of heavy to handle, but as long as you know you want to burn for, let's say, like at least 30-40 seconds or even more, they are fine. They deliver a lot of power in a short amount of time, so they are perfect for getting off the ground, where you want pretty much power. So that's why I'm putting them on my ship, and actually I'm slightly overdoing it, and I'm putting 8 of them at my ship. These are decouplers as well, pretty much like this one, but they are radially mounted, and then I will put solid fuel boosters on them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's 8 solid fuel boosters. Looks pretty impressive, doesn't it? And also aerodynamic they should be, because we are going through the atmosphere with them, so I want them to be as aerodynamic as... Why is this not... Okay. As aerodynamic as possible. So these are our aerodynamic solid fuel boosters, and I'm just gonna strut them down as well. So that's gonna take a second, just to keep them stable and not wiggle around during the flight. So yeah, that's it. Now we are in Kerbal space program. And okay, we should be fine. Okay. Oh yeah, I almost forgot the winglets. You will need winglets or canards or whatever you call them to maneuver yourself within the atmosphere, because within the atmosphere you can work your way with the RCS fuel, but it's not very effective because the air will keep you from effectively using it, and winglets are way better. These winglets can actually steered by you yourself, meaning that if you make any actions and tell the rocket to go right or left, those winglets will react, but they will also react to the SAS unit, telling them to go in whatever way to correct your flight path, so you will keep stable. Okay, enough of talking now, let's get to business. Actually, just some more struts. I'm kind of nervous about this. I hope it all works out, but it should. And yeah, that looks like it's gonna fly us at least into the sky somewhere, hopefully back home safely. and here, how are we gonna call this? Dum, ba, dum, bum, bum. The para rocket. You know what? Mark 1. Okay. So yeah, let's try save that and launch it. Oh, I just remembered I forgot two vital details, which I will have to address, and we have to go back to the vehicle assembly building. Okay, we are back at the vehicle assembly building, and as you can tell probably, I have put some of these red things called launch stability enhancers here, because those will keep us slightly in the air before we start, so we don't sit on the ground and possibly damage the motors of the rocket. So yeah, the engines actually. And also what I've done, which you probably didn't notice so far if you haven't played the game, is I have had a look into the staging over here. This is the bar on the right side, which basically programs the rocket and tells it what to do at what specific point in time. A rocket always works with stages, which can be used in Kerbal space program by pressing the space key. Haha, space key. Anyway, if you press the space key, a certain action is done, and this determines what action. For now, the fourth stage is the first stage, which will actually work. So down here is the first things that will happen. Okay, keep that in mind if you ever play. First things go down, last things to happen go up here. Like for me, opening the parachute is the last thing I want to do. So, to explain this, you can pretty much, to make it easier, hover over any part in here and find it, because it lights up. Like you see, this is the fuel booster here. It lights up. And I can then click it and drag it around to any, and drop it to any stage I want it to be in. I want it to remain here, and yeah. So in the first stage, all the boosters will ignite and fire, and the docking pods will disconnect, so I can get up in the air and fly. Once they have burned out, I will disconnect them and start up my 4 engines down here. Once they have burned out, I will disconnect the whole 4 stages and fire up the engine that's hidden behind the shrouds, and then hopefully be in orbit, then stop my orbit, go back down, and once we are coming close to the ground, I will disconnect the rest of the rocket and just keep the command module and the parachutes, and then once we're really close to the ground, open up the parachutes and hopefully land back home safely. So let's see if we can achieve an orbit with our rocket. Welcome to the launch pad. Here are Nelwick, Kerman, Shadow Kerman, Midlan, Kerman. I almost couldn't read his name. And it's a clear, uncloudy day, so pretty much like any day in Kerbal space program. And we're ready to launch. So what we will do now is put our stability enhancement system, the SAS, on, and we'll put the throttle up to maximum to provide throttle once we fire the 4 main engines. Okay, that's roughly it. I hope the game isn't gonna be too loud, because it tends to be. So here we go. Let's launch for orbit in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Ignition. Dear Lord. This is loud as hell. I will actually have to make it a bit more quiet when I cut. So let's go a bit to the right. Actually, in all of your rocket starts, you will want to go to the right, because, well, or to the east if you want to be correct, because that way you can use the planet's rotation to get you into orbit. That pretty much helps you a lot. So that's why you also see all the rockets starting to the east in Kerbal Space Program. Any Let's Player who has a slight idea of what he's doing. Actually, I turned off the SAS by accident, and as you could see, we started tumbling immediately. And yeah, as you saw, we dropped the 4 solid fuel boosters successfully, and the 4 other engines started, and we're now getting up there pretty quickly actually. And let's get a view of the map. This is what trajectory we are on, where we are flying. Our highest point, which we have not yet reached, will be at 12,000 meters, which is not too much actually. And as you can see, this rocket is not really a good design. Poor design by me. Because usually the steam should be coming out straight, not like this. But we're getting up into space. Oh my god. I have a feeling like I'm gonna fail to even get into orbit, which is devastating. I actually thought I would be able to do it. If not, I will just overkill the next rocket and then do it. Let's see. Not yet decided. Not yet decided. Yeah, we're not really going anywhere. We're going pretty far, but we're not going up enough, so I'm turning back up. Please get into orbit, please, would you kindly? Yeah. Actually, turning this way at this early stage is called a gravity. Something is hovering here. Okay. Weird. Oh, we've already burned out. Okay, let's start the next stage. Here we go. Okay. That worked perfectly fine. And we're also getting out into space now, which is great. This thing, by the way, is called the nav ball and will help you navigate. And actually, I think that's sufficient. We'll keep it there and plan our maneuver to go around the planet. I did 2 points, the periapsis and the apoapsis, to help you maneuver in orbit. The apoapsis is the highest point of the orbit, and the periapsis is the lowest point. Just to tell you that. By planning maneuvers, you get like this blue cross on your nav ball, and you can put your orientation on it. And if you then fire your engines in the direction in which you are heading, like this, at the right time, you can achieve the orbit, which is the orange dotted line, or pretty much any course that's the orange dotted line. So this one we're coming up to the point of the maneuver in 45 seconds, and I will already fire it up because the computer game, basically calculates the maneuver as if all the power of your engine, all the power needed, was put to to that one point, yeah, of the maneuver, which means you will need to fire half the time before that point and half the time after that point to get it pinpoint precision like. And as you can see, you have that green bar on the right, which is now slowly going down. With a more powerful engine it would probably be going down faster, but we would also be eating more fuel. So that's pretty much fine right now, but I'm not sure if we will be able to achieve an orbit just now. We're getting there. As you can see, the blue line, that's our current trajectory, is increasing, and if that makes a circle around the planet, we are pretty good, and it's looking good. We're getting there. We are getting there. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my god, yes. Come on, come on. A bit more. Great. We did it. And, oops. Actually, there we are. Great. Okay, let's cancel the maneuver. And we have an orbit, ladies and gentlemen. We are now officially in space and orbiting around Kerbal. Yeah. What you saw here is I extended the orbit to go around and at a specific height, which is not within the atmosphere anymore, because if you have a too low periapsis, I think space in this game starts, don't let me say anything wrong, 60,000, 70,000, 70,000 meters, not too sure about that. So you want to be above that, because if you are lower than that, the air will hold you back and make you slower, which means you will slow down and you will probably fall back to the ground. So make sure to stay higher than that at any point of the orbit, and you will stay higher than that at any point of the orbit if you periapsis. The lowest point of the orbit is higher than that. Easy as that. Okay, actually, let me tell you, an orbit is basically nothing more than falling, but falling around the Earth. In fact, right now we are being pulled back to Kerbal, or the Earth. That's would pretty much work the same way for any spacecraft. We are falling towards the planet, but at the same time we're going so quickly into this direction, like this direction we're heading now, that we don't actually go down, but we go to the front still. So we're kind of falling here, and we're not actually falling here, but we're falling somewhere around the planet, and that keeps us rotating, and we will forever keep rotating if we don't slow down and let us allow to fall back. So we're pretty fine here, and yeah, that's roughly what an orbit is all about. So yeah, pretty happy we made that. I didn't actually think we could. And yeah, we will keep forever in orbit now. Let's just test out some more features of KSP, I think, when we are ready for it, and I will just quickly go around the planet, I think. Fortunately we have time warp, so we can go a bit faster than we actually are going, and we can skip the night more or less, and it's night time now. I will see you again on the day side of the planet. Sorry. Okay, here we are again. It's become daytime. We are, well, roughly we're now on the morning side of the planet, kind of. And I've turned the ship around a bit. Like you can see, you can do that without the SAS, and just turn the ship like this. As you can see, we will keep on spinning. If I just press W, we will keep spinning like this, and which is not too fortunate, to be honest. And since this is a light ship, it will keep on spinning forever, and yeah, I can easily spin it around by just using the ship's controls, which it always has. Usually in reality ships don't have such a control, but in Kerbal Space Program they do. And now if I turn back on SAS, you will see that the spinning stops and then actually goes back to the point. No, it actually just stops. Early on it did go back to the point where you activated SAS, but I think they patched that away in the latest update. So let me turn around even more so we are facing the sunny side again. And as I told you, when assembling the vehicle, we can also use the RCS to turn around, which would then look something like this. As you can see, there are puffs coming out and they're turning us around. We can go around even faster and faster and faster and scare our Kerbals to death, but I don't really want to do that, so let's let the SAS fix that for us. Here we are. Well done, SAS. We are now safely back. Okay. So that's what the RCS fuel is about. That's more important for bigger spacecraft than it is for this small one, but yeah. Now we can also take a look into the cockpit and see what the Kerbals see. So this is some Bill or Bob, I don't know. No, wait, actually we don't have Bill or Bob on this mission at all. This is one of the Kerbals, just don't know. And look around in the cockpit. Oh, stars. I can't see the Earth. He's looking quite scared. Anyway, let's see if I can head this way. We should be able... There it is, to see the Earth. Yeah, beautiful. So as you can see, we are kind of flying along the Earth here. I think we're flying this way. Yes, that's roughly the way we're going. Yep. Perfect. Yeah, that's the way we're going. So yeah, that's that. We could actually steal the whole game from in here, but I'm not just gonna do that. Okay, so that's that. And now let's disable SAS and RCS and whoops, orientate ourselves back into the light, and then we can test out some extra vehicular activities. And I'm just gonna send out Shadow Kerman on EVA. He's now clinging on to the spaceship for dear life. No, actually not. He's probably pretty fine, but looking slightly scared. Determined, I would say. Okay, we can then let go and are now officially floating in space freely. And then let's activate our jetpack. Yes, we have jetpacks in this game. Awesome. And roam around and just have a look. So this is our spacecraft. You can even zoom out a bit. It can zoom out a lot. Wow. I never tried this. Okay, let's go back in. Okay, and then fly around our spacecraft. Woohoo! We can even turn lights on our little Kerbal, like this, so he can see where. Oh, I didn't even notice I crashed into it. Oh, damn it. Okay, so this is our spacecraft. Woohoo! And oops, no, I don't want to be going too far away. Crap. Oops, sorry. Oh shit. Yeah, this is not going too well. Okay, let's try to keep ourselves stable. And oh, this is coming in pretty close. Okay. So yeah, that's that. EVA. Let's try to get back on board. No, that's the wrong way. Okay. Stabilize yourself and get in there. Up. Okay. Grab it. No, crap. Again. Grab. He tried to grab it but then let go again. Okay. Try it again. We should be up a bit. Okay. Come on. Now grab it. Okay, we got it. Okay, going in butt first. Okay, we're back in. Whew, Jesus Christ. That's EVAs for you, everybody. So, yeah, that's roughly all that we can do in orbit. Nothing much more to do. Oh, there's the moon. We will be going there in a future episode, hopefully, if you want to see more of Kerbal Space Program, which I will try to record occasionally. But yeah, this will hopefully go up in the next 1 or 2 days, and the next episode then will take a bit of time until it comes out, because I will be on holiday. I will not be able to record anything, any content whatsoever until August, August 30th or August 29th, something like that. So please don't worry for me. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm just going on holiday to France, and then I'm actually visiting the Gamescom as well. So if any of you are going to the Gamescom, just let me know in the comments and maybe we can meet up if you would like to. I think it would be a great chance, but yeah, I'm going on the 21st and 22nd. 21st on the afternoon and 22nd pretty much the whole day, I think. So yeah, that's that for future plans. And I hopefully won't be talking this much in future episodes, because now you know the basics of the game actually. So yeah, go ahead and check it out on Steam. It's really worth the money. And well, what's left to do for us is deorbit our Kerbals and bring them back home safely. We haven't got a lot of fuel left, but it should be roughly enough to get us back home, hopefully. Now there are 2 points on the nav ball that you will need to know. This is one of them, the so-called retrograde vector, and then there's on the other hand the prograde vector. The prograde vector is basically the direction you're going. So if I want to speed up, I would need to put myself oriented to the prograde and then burn. However, if I want to slow down, which is what I need to do to get out of orbit, I need to orient myself for the retrograde vector, keep myself stable on there with SAS, and burn. So now we are slowing down, and as you can see, our orbit is slowly getting smaller, and I just power down a lot more, and it's going down, and we are coming back to Earth. As you can see, it's still shrinking. We are actually getting close to the VAB, I think. Let's try to... No, that's the wrong way. Let's try to get close. How about that? Okay, we have apparently run out of fuel. So there's nothing else we can do now but wait and keep ourselves on a trajectory for re-entry. Usually for rockets, re-entry is a pretty hard thing to do, because if you go too fast, the air will pretty much slide along your ship and heat it up, as you know, by friction, and that friction will actually get your ship so hot it can melt and explode and pretty much tear itself apart while in the process of slowing down in the atmosphere. So that's why there are heat shields on all the spacecraft that you see. However, in Kerbal Space Program, Well, re-entry is not such a big problem because re-entry doesn't really have any physics yet. I think it's planned to be implemented in the game, but it's totally complicated because the physical process that is going on there is not easy to simulate in a video game. And so all that there is for now are re-entry effects, which are basically just visual effects, like the whole thing will start to glow and wobble around, and well, you'll see for yourself in a few seconds when we get closer to the ground. As you can see here, we are losing altitude now, and pretty much a lot, and we're going very fast. We're going at 1,900 meters per second. This is like almost 2 kilometers per second, and we are getting even faster, because the closer you are to the ground, the quicker you will go, because that's a smaller lap, and forget about that. Just the closer you are to the ground, the quicker you will be going. And yeah. So we are so we are now passing overhead the space center. The space center is located here and indicated by that, just 60 kilometers away right now. And we are also well within the atmosphere now, and it's slowing us down, and we will probably have some re-entry effects in a second. There is the space center. You can see the runway and there are our re-entry effects. So yeah, that's re-entry. We are glowing, steaming up, and going pretty fast still, but we're slowing down a hell lot now because the friction of the air is causing us to slow down. And yeah, pretty successful flight right now. We have done one revolution around the entire planet and are now coming down. And what I want to do now at roughly 10 kilometer altitude is disconnect this stage from the other one. There we go. This one will just fall down and fall into the ocean, and the other one carries our 3 slightly scared passengers and their drag chute and parachute, which are both the same. I will deploy the drag chute right now. There we go. We have the drag chute, which is slowing us down further, and as soon as we get close to the ground, it will open up, and then we will just go to the ground slowly. So the parachute should open up any second now. It did. The splash you just heard was the rest of the stage. And here we are, tingling from the parachute above the ocean, not too far away from land. Actually, 37 kilometers out on the ocean from the space center, which is pretty close in terms of space travel. And yeah, we have almost just 200 meters left of altitude to go, 100, and then we will be put into the sea. As you can see, the Kerbals are pretty much neutral at this point. Nelwig is even pretty happy. I think the other two are still slightly worried, whatever you pronounce it like. And here we go. And yep, successful splashdown of our mission. We are floating in the ocean. Oops, we have rolled over, but the crew can get out at this crew hatch, crew access door. So yeah, that's our first successful mission in Kerbal Space Program. Hopefully many more to come. yeah, in the next few episodes, and I hope I will see you then. If you like this, throw me a like, a thumbs up would be much appreciated. Favorite it, comment it, and see you next time. Goodbye, fellas.